In this section, we're going to consider the live compare function that comes with Essentials for Office 365. As the name suggests, live compare enables you to compare two environments and observe the differences between the two. And not only that, it enables you to make changes then. So perhaps if you've got a QA environment and you've got a live or production environment, you can observe the differences between the two and then migrate approved content from the QA environment to the production environment. So this will make more sense when I show you it in practice. So in order to do this, I'm going to click on the Migrator tab. There's our button there, Live Compare. Now, if I click on it straight up, you'll see we have to fill in these fields, a URL and list and library and so on. But it's actually much easier to browse to those. So if I browse into Wingtip intranet and select documents, for example, then, and perhaps I want to compare that with my Office 365 tenant. So I browse into that, down into the Meta One finance site, and then hold Control and click on the documents library within there. Now when I click Live Compare, all the fields have been filled out, so it's much easier, I think, to set it up that way rather than browse and type in the URLs here. Okay, so now I've got a view showing me the differences between the two environments, and I can expand out different sections to show those. So if I expand out content here, you can see that in the library on the right, which is the on-premises library, it contains this document American Aviation, and it doesn't contain these documents here, the BN specification, CV, and so on. So if I think, well, actually, I want this document here, the American Aviation document, to be in the Office 365 environment, I can simply select it and then click up to the top here, copy right to left. And that will initiate the migration wizard for that individual item from the source library to the target library. And here again, I can specify a content type in the target library. So change the content type during that migration. And I can click across advanced options, choose whether to include versions, overwrite if the file exists, and so on. So the options there we discussed in the video about SharePoint migration. So if I now hit finish, that will perform the migration, and once that's taken place, then that item will now be also available in the left. Okay, so one item process successful. I click OK. If I refresh this view again, they should be still selected, and click Live Compare. This will show us the comparison. And now if I expand out content, you'll see it's no longer highlighting that document American Aviation is a difference, because that's now been copied and appears on both sides. So it's just good to be mindful of the fact that this view shows the differences or highlights the differences between the two environments you've selected. So if I expand out permissions, we can see the differences between the permissions in the source and target environments. So these are the groups and users in the source, and these are the groups and users here, in Office 365, and these are the groups and users in the on-premises site that I've selected. Now from here we can copy permissions across environments as well, but it's important to note that the users must exist in that environment before we copy permissions, or it will show an error. Other things we can do here, we can expand out this section here, which is type. So document template, here there's a difference in the properties of the document template from the source and to the target, and so on. So this gives you a very good indication of the differences between two environments, and is a very useful step pre or post migration to understand the differences, and then make changes to rectify those differences if required.